Well, you've got a government that are ideologically committed, and Ed Miliband put in this piece of legislation in 2008, the Climate Change Act. They're ideologically committed. They are believers in Greta Thunberg. They're friends with the people that stick themselves to the road.
Why does the British state send police officers to a journalist's front door over a tweet, while horrific institutionalized child exploitation gets actively ignored and papered over for decades? This isn't a mistake, and it isn't a funding crisis. It is deliberate ideological warfare. The institutional elite have weaponized the law, the media, and the banking system to control your speech and freeze your assets while letting actual community crumble under open lawlessness. Let me show you the raw mechanics of the two-tier trap. Let's play the tape.
We know that local councillors with political power deliberately covered up and aided and abetted what happened. We know that the police, for various reasons, some of which were political correctness, not wanting to seem as racist, did not prosecute these crimes. We know that there is an ideology of Islamism which has become more powerful in British politics. We've seen at the last election 4 Islamist MPs were elected. We know that ideology is influencing the Labour Party because they do not want to lose votes to the election. So we've got a combination of all those different things happening, which creates a groupthink and creates a blindness to what's going on. Or you could say it's worse than blindness. You could say it's deliberate neglect.
It is not incompetence. It is deliberate neglect driven by ideological submission. Local councils and police forces actively covered up systemic horrors because maintaining their multicultural political groupthink was prioritized over human lives. Since when political correctness is more important than moral values? That's wrong. Let's play another one.
It's not a funding issue.
No.
Because we can see the police are going to Allison Pearson's house at the weekend to look at her Twitter account.
Yeah.
That is obviously
bonkers
misprioritization and a completely wrong sense of what are serious issues that need to be investigated and what is I believe in freedom of speech. It's outrageous that they called her at her house at a weekend.
Don't let them tell you the police are underfunded. They have infinite resources to deploy squad cars on weekends to investigate internet text posts. The priority of state is policing your thoughts, not keeping the streets safe. And that's just proved her point. Let's watch another one, guys.
The politically exposed person rule, you remember the whole Nigel Farage bank account incident. I've struggled to get bank accounts and things like that for that reason.
You have as well?
Yeah. It's very, very difficult for politicians to operate.
But
that's
that
shocking.
Reason.
But you're the guy you're the guys in... Sorry, I say guys.
But you're still subject to all these rules. And I think all of this, in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, there was a lot of extra bureaucracy created. It hasn't actually helped customers. It's just made the whole system bureaucratic and, as you say, increased levels of interference.
So I think the banking system has been completely weaponized to watch extensively what are we doing. Under the guise of anti-money laundering and political exposure, private banks are shutting down accounts of independent commentators, politicians, and Bitcoin users to maintain centralized financial control. So a couple of years ago, I went to the bank to withdraw a large amount of money, which I couldn't do it in the local ATM. And I had very awkward conversation with the gentleman behind the counter. I had to answer all sorts of questions. What I'm going to do with my money? At the end of the day, it's my money in my bank account. I'm paying you for keeping this money safe. Please, can I have it back? No. Let's watch another one.
We need to abandon net zero and repeal the Climate Change Act. We need to get fracking. That was one of the things that drove the American energy revolution, was fracking. Cheap energy made it much easier to manufacture, much easier to run a business. We know there's going to be lots of businesses like AI that require high levels of energy. We need to get fracking, abandon net zero. We need to abolish...
Stops that? Let's just deal with each one at a time then.
Oh my God, there's a very long list.
Yeah, I know, but okay, cool. So what stops us abandoning net zero?
Well, you've got a government that are ideologically committed, and Ed Miliband put in this piece of legislation in 2008, the Climate Change Act. They're ideologically committed. They are believers in Greta Thunberg. They're friends with the people that stick themselves to the road.
Almighty Greta.
So we've got a government that's ideologically opposed, but I think ideologically opposed to what I'm saying. But I also think we need the public to speak up more. I mean, we have the highest energy bills in the developed world. Maybe if there were more protests, or the farmers came out and protested about inheritance tax, but where are the householders saying we're not putting up with this anymore? We've got the highest energy bills in the world. We don't actually want to pursue a suicidal net zero policy when nobody else is doing it, which they're not.
I mean, all the net zero agenda is economical suicide, designed by the elite and cheered on by legacy media. The UK residents pays the highest energy bills in the developed world, while the rest of the world laughs and burns fossil fuels. It's an elite-driven self-destruction mechanism. Let's watch another one.
Anyway, the other things we need to do: Town and Country Planning Act 1947, probably the most damaging piece of legislation in British history, needs to be repealed.
Don't know anything about it.
So this was under the Clement Attlee government, and essentially it nationalised land and made it much harder to build houses. So in the 1930s, and you can see this, all the semis that have been built around cities like Leeds or London or wherever, they were all built in the 1930s before the Town and Country Planning Act. We were building 300,000 homes a year.
Mm-hmm.
Labour can't manage that now. But in 1947, the Attlee government put in the Town and Country Planning Act, put in the huge green belts around cities, some of which aren't green. It's one thing I agree with Keir Starmer on, that there is a grey belt. But also just made it incredibly cumbersome to build houses. You have to get permission from the local council to do what you want on your own land. Until we get rid of that, I think it is very difficult for things to get built in this country.
I think that law was designed at 80 years ago-ish. So why keep following it if that literally creates a massive hurdles into building new houses? That's beyond me. When a nation state punishes speech and financial independence harsher than a deep-seated institutional failures and horrific crimes, it is no longer a free society. It has transformed into an administrative dictatorship, where the system protects itself while liquidating the productive class. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. This isn't a mistake, and this isn't a mistake, and it isn't a funding crisis. It is deliberate ideological warfare. So don't let them. It's an elite-driven self-construction. It's an elite-driven self-destruction mechanism.